Now we've got Matt Lynn and Jake Holden. I'm sorry, I knew that name. It just slipped my mind. My apologies. Come on up and join us. And if you guys do have questions for these guys, please feel free to. Oh, here's Mr. Duhamel joining us.
How we doing? Good. How you doing?
All right, well, most of these guys are very familiar faces, obviously. And for those of you outside the winner's circle, please don't be shy. Come on in. These guys want to see you and ask questions, so come on in. Don't be shy. As I mentioned, we do have Mr. Neil Hodgson here today. He returns to AMA Superbike competition after a year-long absence and is the 2003 World Superbike Champion. He finished 4th and 5th at the AMA races here in Infineon Raceway in 2006. And we also have Miguel Duhamel. He has the most career AMA wins at Infineon Raceway with 9, including 5 Superbike wins, and apparently some fans, Honda fans here today, which is good. And he finished 8th in Superbike Series points after an injury last year. And then, as I mentioned, we're also joined by Jake Holden and Matt Lynn with Corona Honda, who are here today. So feel free to ask them a question. I'll get started. If you have a question, raise your hand, and Jennifer will come to you with a microphone. Neil, I'll start with you. You haven't been on track here for a year. Maybe you can talk about how it's changed or how you're getting ready for the race.
It's not really changed much, actually. I forgot what a great little circuit it is. It's definitely one of my favourite tracks. It's so physical on a superbike. It's really, really tiring. I think the bikes every year get faster. We have more brake horsepower, and this track seems to get smaller, because obviously I'm riding around probably 60% of the track with my foot on the rear brake, just, trying to work as my own traction control and stop the bike from wheeling. So that's the biggest thing I've noticed, having been away for a year, coming back, the track seems smaller and the bikes seem faster.
Excellent. Miguel, you've obviously had a lot of experience and success here. What's the secret to this place, do you think? Not that you can share all your secrets.
Tell me
Well, it's not to work hard, take it easy, and for everybody listening, please drink a lot, don't sleep. That's usually a good thing.
Sound advice.
So, no, just that Neil touched on it too. It's a lot of work, and so hopefully we'll be able to. We're here to test and get our bike better, and obviously the goal is to be extremely competitive as the year goes on.
And Matt, maybe you can talk about how things went for you guys this morning and how things are looking for the race weekend.
I've been here before, so I really like the track, and I think right now we came from the test at Barber, so working through a couple different things, but so far the bike's working really good, and I'm really happy to be here. Like I said, I like the track, and I feel comfortable here. I think I'm riding good, so hopefully the rest of the afternoon will go real well, and we can give these guys a run.
And Jake, I know this is your first year with the team. How has that transition been for you?
It's great. It's nice to be on a Honda. It's the first motorcycle I started racing on, so it's nice to be back with Honda and be at one of the closest racetracks to Seattle, because that's where I live. It was about a 12-hour drive, but I consider this one of my home tracks. I love this track. It's like really physically demanding and technical, so it suits my style.
All right, who has a question for these guys? Raise your hand. Nobody? All right, right behind you, Jen.
For Neil, I'm from England, and all the fans want to know, English fans, is how after British Superbikes, World Superbikes, and MotoGP, how does it compare to being the AMA series?
That's a good question. It's a very good question. It's difficult to answer because year from year it changes. But I feel like I've been racing for a lot of years, nearly sort of 18 seasons, and I'm riding around this morning, riding as hard as I can, and I'm still 2 seconds slower than Matt Mladin, or maybe even more, 2.5 seconds at the moment. And that's pretty amazing, because when I ride to the level I rode this morning at MotoGP or World Superbikes, if it was World Superbikes, on a bad day I'd have been a second behind Bayliss, or on a bad day I'd be 1.5 seconds behind Rossi. People appreciate the level that Matt Mladin's riding. Yes, he's got a good bike, we all know that, but I think credit where credit's due at times. I think the level of what Matt and Ben have done for the whole series they've raised the series. And I think when I came back into the championship in 2005, I thought it was going to be not easy, but I didn't think it was the level that it is at. Unfortunately, the rest of the world don't know that. You know, all my friends and family back home think that this championship's a very weak championship, and they just think, why aren't you winning the AMA? You know, what can I say? All I say to them is it's bloody a lot harder than you think, you know. And unfortunately, this championship gets no coverage in Europe, as opposed to obviously World Superbikes or MotoGP. Everybody thinks that's the pinnacle of the sport, but I think a lot of people would be surprised at how fast someone like Mr. Mladen goes or Mr. Speeds goes at the moment.
Excellent. Who else has questions? If you have a question, raise your hand. Okay.
How old were you when you first started racing, and what kind of motorcycles were you racing?
Good question. Maybe you guys can all answer that. I'll start with you.
I started racing when I was 9 years old, and I did motocross, and I raced motocross until I was 15, and then when I was 16, I started road racing, and I'm now 34, so that's that. So I've been racing forever. But luckily, I've got a teammate who's slightly, I think he's a year older than me, so.
You're going to be older than me by the end of this year. So, yeah.
Miguel, how about you? How old were you, and what bike did you start racing?
Oh, I started racing. I was 7, and motocross again. That's how we started on the kiddie class there, and then I've never gotten off a bike since. So that'd be like 27 years.
God, that's longer than I've been alive. Really? I started riding whenever I was 4, and then I actually started competing whenever I was 15. Did motocross, and then made the transition to road racing in 2003. That was my first year. Honestly, I raced Suzuki's, and then went to MV last year, and then this year I'm a Honda. And I have to say the Honda's pretty much one of the best bikes I've ridden thus far.
I started racing when I was 6, and then it was flat track I did until I was 15, and then moved to road racing on 125s when I was 16, 15, 16.
How old are you now?
24.
Think about that.
I'm almost 25.
All right. Who else has questions? Raise your hand. Right here, front.
Do any of you guys ever have any apprehension getting on the bike, you know, after you've taken a spill? Is there any sort of like, oh, I don't want to get on?
Yeah, definitely. We're only human, you know, and sometimes if you've had a big crash, you know, you throw your leg back over the bike and you feel a bit stiff and you just think, God, I don't want to do that again. But I don't know if what separates us from normal people is, it's for me personally, it's a thought that goes through my mind and it's instantly dismissed, you know, and then you just get on with it. And then once you start riding and pushing, you remember that you can do it, you enjoy it, and the negative thoughts or the fears disappear really quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've never had a big crash still, but the day when I have one, that might be a concern. But no, you just go out there and get on with it. And you know, I think it motivates you a lot to know that you're not really good at anything else. So you want to make sure that you keep your job. So then you just go as fast as you can.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, the same thing they said. I mean, just trying to get on the bike and go for it. And I think for me, I've always, ever since I was a little kid, wanted to see how fast I could go on a bike personally. So it's always been get on the bike and try and go as fast as I can on it. And I think kind of comes down to the personal level of racing against yourself some too. So to see exactly what you can get away with and what you can do. But no, I love it.
Yeah, like Miguel said, I've had a couple normal jobs, and this suits me the best. I can't see myself doing anything else. So that's that.
That's extra motivation for you.